Welcome to the Toronto International Film Festival.
I want to thank Toronto for raising me to love movies.
I want to thank all of you for coming out this evening to see what we think is a very special film.
I really hope you will enjoy our movie.
Hello!
Film festivals, you always have an amazing array of films to have that conversation about.
Everyone has a big imagination. All of us do.
This is exciting. My first film to premiere here at the Toronto Film Festival. It's an exciting night.
I believe you are one of the most vibrant and globally exciting festivals, if not the most globally exciting festival in the world.
Welcome everyone to TIFF by Lightbox, and thank you for joining us this morning for the kickoff to the 39th Toronto International Film Festival. I'm Pierce Handling, Director and CEO of TIFF.
And I'm Cameron Bailey, the Artistic Director of the Toronto International Film Festival. We've got an exciting lineup to share with you, so sit back and get comfortable.
Now, an incredible amount of effort and support goes into putting the festival together and running TIFF by Lightbox year-round. Before we get to the films, we would like to say some very special thank yous to those who make our dreams possible. A million thank yous go to our dedicated and professional staff and volunteers, and our outstanding board of directors who drive our success. And to our members and donors, thank you for sharing your love of film with TIFF. We are forever grateful for your support. Now, none of this would be possible if it weren't for the original vision of three wise gentlemen, our founders, Bill Marshall, Dusty Cole, and Hank Vanderkook. And I believe Bill is here this morning. And next year, we will be celebrating the 40th anniversary of what you created.
We'd like to acknowledge our sponsors and supporters for their continued support of our initiatives 365 days a year. Our lead sponsor, Bell. Our major sponsors, RBC, L'Oreal Paris, and Visa. Our major supporters, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto. Our major industry supporters, the Ontario Media Development Corporation and Telefilm Canada. We'd also like to thank our returning and new sponsors who dream up innovative ways to enhance the festival experience for our audiences. Now, the diversity and quality of our festival program is a reflection of our international programming team who seek out the best cinema from around the world and from right here at home in Canada. Their intelligence, their instinct, and passion are what drive this festival. For their commitment, we'd like to thank our Executive Director and COO, Michelle Mayhew, the festival's Director of Programming, Carrie Craddock, and our programmers, Brad Dean, Dimitri Epides, Giovanna Fulvi, Colin Geddes, Steve Gravestock, Laurel McMillan, Kathleen McInnes, Elizabeth Muscala, Andrea Picard, Tom Powers, Alex Rogalski, Rasha Salty, Diana Sanchez, Jane Shuttle, Magali Samard, Shane Smith, and Agata Smolich del Sorbo. It's a big group, it's a big festival. Finally, we'd like to thank all of the filmmakers, the sales companies, and distributors for bringing your films to Toronto audiences.
You'll see on screen this year's campaign for the festival, created in-house. In 2014, we want to remind people that this is their festival, that we are the People's Festival. The campaign also celebrates the unscripted, real moments that make the festival special. We have some great plans in store for 2014 to help audiences, industry delegates, and you, our media friends, get the most out of your festival.
So those of you who are journalists, I know the life during the festival is not always easy. It includes days in dark theaters, running with coffee from screening to press conference to screening. And this year, when you take a look around, you'll see that the heart of our festival village on King Street will look different. This is thanks to a wonderful collaboration between the City of Toronto, the Toronto Transit Commission, the Entertainment District BIA, and TIFF. As a way of welcoming our international visitors, thanking the citizens of Toronto for their longtime support of TIFF, and ensuring everyone's safe enjoyment of the festival, together we will be closing a portion of King Street to vehicular traffic during our opening weekend from September 4th to the 7th. The strip of King Street between University Avenue and Peter Street will be transformed into Festival Street, a pedestrian-friendly promenade full of free programming, pop-up performances, an outdoor stage, and much, much more. This year, everyone will find many more ways to enjoy the great city of Toronto. We'll have more details on programming later this summer.
It's definitely going to be an exciting year. Now let's just jump right in and start to announce some of the films. We're thrilled to be presenting the following titles in the special presentations program. Ning Hao's Breakup Buddies, Philippe Falardeau's The Good Lie, starring Reese Witherspoon and Corey Stoll, Christian Petzold's Phoenix, starring Nina Haas, Chris Rock's Top 5, starring Rosario Dawson and Chris Rock, and Noah Baumbach's While We're Young, starring Amanda Seyfried, Adam Driver, Ben Stiller, and Naomi Watts.
And we're very pleased that our gala program will include David Dobkin's The Judge, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall, Francois Ozon's The New Girlfriend, starring Romain Duris and Anaïs de Moustier, and Lona Scherfig's The Riot Club.
The special presentations program will also include Ramin Barani's 99 Homes, starring Andrew Garfield and Michael Shannon, Suzanne Bier's The Second Chance, starring Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Saurik Andresan's American Heist, starring Adrian Brody and Hayden Christensen, Chris Evans' Before We Go, Daniel Barnes's Cake, starring Jennifer Aniston and Anna Kendrick.
Jang Yimou's Coming Home, starring Gong Li, Peter Ho-Sun Chan's Dearest, Toa Fraser's The Deadlands, Michael R. Roscom's The Drop, starring Tom Hardy and Noomi Rapace, Mia Hansen-Love's Eden,
David Olhoffen's Far From Men, starring Viggo Mortensen, Ruben Östlund's Force Majeure, Régis Valnier's The Gate, Andrew Nichols' Good Kill, starring Ethan Hawke and January Jones, Peter Chesham's Hector and the Search for Happiness, starring Simon Pegg and Rosamund Pike.
Barry Levinson's The Humbling, starring Al Pacino and Greta Gerwig, Saverio Costanzo's Hungry Hearts, starring Adam Driver, Morton Tildom's The Imitation Game, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Salma Hayek and Liam Neeson in Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, Daniel Barber's The Keeping Room, starring Britt Marling and Haley Steinfeld, Richard Lagravenese's The Last 5 Years, starring Anna Kendrick,
Isabel Crichette's Learning to Drive, starring Patricia Clarkson and Ben Kingsley, Bill Poland's Love and Mercy, starring Paul Dano and John Cusack, David Gordon Green's Manglehorn, starring Al Pacino and Holly Hunter, Omar Kumar's Mary Kom, starring Priyanka Chopra, Jason Reitman's Men, Women, and Children, starring Jennifer Garner and Adam Sandler, Liv Ullmann's Miss Julie, starring Jessica Chastain and Colin Farrell, Mike Leigh's Mr. Turner, starring Timothy Spall,
Israel Horowitz's My Old Lady, starring Maggie Smith, Kevin Kline, and Kristen Scott Thomas, Hal Hartley's Ned Rifle, Dan Gilroy's Nightcrawler, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Rene Russo, Abel Ferrara's Pasolini, starring Willem Dafoe, Jean-Baptiste Leonetti's The Reach, starring Michael Douglas and Jeremy Irvin, Wang Xiaoshui's Red Amnesia,
Laurent Cantet's Return to Ithaca, Jon Stewart's Rosewater, starring Gael Garcia Bernal, Richard Glasser and Wash Westmoreland's Still Alice, starring Julianne Moore and Kristen Stewart, James Marsh's The Theory of Everything, starring Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones, Oren Moverman's Time Out of Mind, starring Richard Gere, Damon Chazelle's Whiplash, and Damien Safran's Wild Tales, starring Ricardo Darín. Now here's a look at a few of our special presentations.
All right, gentlemen, these are on the house.
Cousin Marv, thanks for the drink, huh? Thanks a lot, Marv.
In Brooklyn, money changes hands all night long. And it's not the kind of money that you can deposit in a bank.
You hand over the drop.
But all that money needs to end up somewhere. They call it a drop bar. You just hide the entire city's dirty money right in plain sight.
All your money in the bag.
Do you know what you're doing? Do you know whose money you're jacking here?
Fill the bag!
You don't see anything? Nah, you know, that's this neighborhood, right?
I heard that Cousin Marv doesn't own the bar. Some hard guys do. You're not a hard guy.
Yeah, we had a crew back in the day when we was young. And Marv, he thought he was a tough guy. Then the neighborhood changed. It wasn't enough to be tough no more. You know, you had to be mean.
You know this guy?
No.
Find my money.
Want my money?
You need to see this, Marv.
No, I don't need to see what's in that bag.
No, don't look at that. Don't look at that.
You're still in the life.
No. No, I just tend the bar.
You ever go around to the front of the bar and take a look at the names on the sign? You know, that's my name, because I used to own it once.
They pressed, you blinked, it's over. It's been over for a while now. I'm not this, and I'm not them.
Where is your cousin Marv?
Sit down.
When I walked into a place people sat up straight, they noticed. I was respected. I was feared. And that meant something.
Are you doing something desperate? Are you doing something that we can't clean up this time? There's some sins that you commit that you can't come back from.
Find det dig?
Hvad fanden tænker du på? Sinde! Og ingen kendelse!
Man er jo stjernepsykopat. Vi skal have ind for et eller andet. Han kan jo ikke have et barn. Han er nemlig at slå dem begge to ihjel.
Så længe der ikke er tale om underernæring og barnet ellers er sundt og rask, så kan man jo ikke tvangsfjerne.
Jeg har taget ham. Jeg har taget deres barn. Han er vores nu.
Det perfekta brott.
Er han død? Har I slået ham ihjel?
Det kan være sådan som mig. Jeg elsker børn, og jeg er en dårlig mor. Men jeg har aldrig gjort noget. Tänk att han kom.
Vi ska nog få det här att fungera. Det ska säkert gå.
Jeg sværger. Jeg har intet gjort. Intet.
Bare søn er blevet kidnappet, tror jeg, vil stå og lyve om det. Hvad fortæller du mig, Dan? Hvad fanden, Esther? Du har fucking givet mig stikker.
Han är inte.
Han er ikke død. Hvor er han så henne? Hvad er det fint? Alt fint. Alt er fint. Det kan jeg sgu da se på dig, det ikke er. Kan du ikke bare gå nu?
Om inte har du någon så tar livet av mig. Om du tar mig då, så tar jag livet av mig!
Hvad er det for et menneske, mand?
This is called ice. This is what winter in America feels like.
Our names are on that list.
Yes, hello, this is Carrie. Pick up who? I'm just supposed to help them find jobs.
You must be the guys from Somalia, Senegal,
Sudan.
Did your luggage come down the chute? Great.
Where is your husband?
No, I'm not married. I provide for myself.
Your survival skills are very impressive.
Thanks. I'll call you tomorrow morning and we'll start the job hunt. I need your help.
Are there any dangerous animals in this area?
Such as?
Lions.
No, there's no lions here. You're safe. What's their story, anyway?
I'm not sure. They seem pretty traumatized.
Made my way to the borderline.
How did that 34 brothers and sisters, and they all died but one.
And she need to be here with us. You don't have an appointment.
Who do I have to screw around here to see an immigration supervisor?
Me.
Thanks, Cupcake.
That's going to be a problem. All flights from the Kakuma refugee camp have been stopped.
Since 9/11, the program here is stopped indefinitely.
She's a child refugee of war. You sure you're ready to take this on?
Definitely.
You're being asked to make choices no one should have to make.
I don't think they're gonna make it if they're not together.
I will pray for you, Yardi.
Yardi?
It is a special name for you. It means great white cow.
Well, it's better than a lot of things I've been called. Holy crap! You can't just break into somebody's house!
There is a reason you do not have a husband.
Okay, thank you so much.
You know, it's one thing to read a list of titles, but once you start to see the images, I get excited all over again. And we've seen the movies. You know, we're thrilled to announce that our galas at Roy Thompson Hall will include the following: Mike Binder's Black and White, starring Kevin Costner, Octavia Spencer, and Anthony Mackie; Antoine Fuqua's The Equalizer, starring Denzel Washington and Chloe Grace Moretz; Bennett Miller's Foxcatcher, starring Steve Carell, Channing Tatum, and Mark Ruffalo; Shim Sung-bo's Heimu, starring Kim Yoon-seok and Yu Chun;
David Cronenberg's Maps to the Stars, starring Julianne Moore, Mia Wasikowski, and Robert Pattinson; Edward Zwick's Pawn Sacrifice, starring Tobey Maguire and Liev Schreiber; Olivier Nakache and Eric Toledano's Samba, starring Omar Sy and Charlotte Gainsbourg; Sean Levy's This Is Where I Leave You, starring Jason Bateman, Tina Fey, and Jane Fonda; and Jean-Marc Vallée's Wild, starring Reese Witherspoon. Now here's a look at some of our gala films.
The infamous Hank Palmer.
The jaded lawyer with no respect for the law.
Did that just happen? How does it feel? Knowing every person you represent is guilty.
It's fine. Innocent people can't afford me.
All rise. Is there anything either counsel or care to add?
My mom passed away this morning.
Is this the first time your mother passed away, or is this something you do on all the cases you're about to lose?
First time.
So, Grandpa Palmer's dead too?
No, Grandpa Palmer's dead to me. It's like a figure of speech.
Sounds complicated. I should go with you.
Trust me, nobody wants to go to Carlinville, Indiana.
Built these walls of stone.
God, here we go.
And they crumble back today.
We can barely stand the sight of each other.
Henry?
Judge?
Hank, thanks for coming. I'm sure your mother would have appreciated it.
Hank Palmer.
Hank, Sheriff White. It's regarding your father.
Biggest mistake of your career and you just happen to run him over?
Forensics found traces of blood on your dad's car.
I sat on the bench in that courtroom for 42 years. This was an accident, period.
We need to establish a firm defense.
There's no we here, Henry. I wish I liked you more.
I can't stay.
You're a lawyer, he is your father. You leave now, you will regret it.
You're a shined-up wooden nickel, Mr. Palmer. I'm going to impale your client on a first-degree murder charge, and you get a front-row seat.
My father's a lot of unpleasant things, and murder is not one of them. I have memories of us. Then I don't. Why?
Was I tough on you? Yes. I did what I thought was right.
My experience, Hank, sometimes you gotta forgive in order to be forgiven.
You and I are finally done.
Oh, we're not done.
You know, in a few years, these boys will be very important.
You got quite a posh name. Miles, are you posh?
The Riot Club.
The Riot Club.
Hundreds of years of the best and the brightest.
Over
Over here we have a portrait of... Sir, you can't go through there.
Oh, you're him. I'm so sorry.
Not just offering you a pub. I'm offering you a future.
It's our time, gentlemen.
We really shouldn't be doing this.
We're at the top university in the world. And so are 20,000 other people. But there are no more than 10 in the Riot Club.
Are you sure you want to be in this thing? These people are not your friends. They don't know when to stop.
It's time for you to leave.
Whoops. I need your help.
Ambulance, please.
Something's happened. Could have just been a mistake. People like us don't make mistakes.
I am sick to death of poor people here!
I didn't do this. It's the club, right? We all did this.
Three months ago, I had a great job and a nice apartment, and I was in love with my wife.
When?
No. How long?
A
This is
year.
the first time. On our sides.
Hello.
I imagine by now you are well into the excessive facial hair phase of your depression.
It's not a good time, Wendy.
Dad's dead.
What?
Hi, sis. Mommy.
What's different about her?
The boobs. She had a little touch-up.
Your father had one final request, and we are going to honor it. He just wanted his kids under one roof. So for the next 7 days, you are all grounded.
Hey. What? Oh, no. We're just sitting in an awkward silence.
Whoops. We come apart there. Mom, close that robe.
It's just breasts, Judd. Same ones you suckled at.
No, Mother, those are not the same breasts you nursed us with. You got bionic breasts now.
Judd Altman. What's it been, 7, 8, 9 years? What happened to Quinn? You guys didn't split up, did you?
She slept with my boss.
Well, that'll do it.
Yes, it did.
Done.
Right. Is it the whole world or is it just his family?
You need to put a baby in that woman, like, yesterday. Have you had your man parts checked? Since you may have emptied them over the years. My room is next to yours. My room is next to yours.
This is the guy that slept with my wife. Who are you coming here?
I'm Wendy Altman, bitch. Yeah, that's a princess cut.
You guys are idiots, but you're my idiots.
We made love on our first date.
Mom.
I don't mind telling you, the man was hung.
That should have been the headstone.
Clearly, she lost more than a husband.
Starting over is complicated, and you don't do complicated, Judd. You never have. Anything can happen. Anything happens all the time.
I've been chasing this idea about a perfect life. But life is unpredictable and irrational and complicated. And I want a complicated life.
I left the baby monitor on upstairs.
Oh, there we go. There.
Turn it off.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
Stick a baby in there, Paul. Shove a baby up there.
It's a circle of life, everybody. Let's go, Altmans.
I'm just trying to get home.
If your nerve deny you, go above your nerve. Emily Dickinson and Cheryl Strait. Oh my God. What have I done?
I'm sorry you have to walk 1,000 miles just to...
Finish that sentence. Why do I have to walk 1,000 miles?
Happy trails, Cheryl.
Turn away from the sound of your own voice.
You get lonely. I'm lonelier in my real life than I am out here.
Follow the avalanche.
Nice to
been some breakup, huh?
Breakup is sort of a shorthand. How much do I love you? I miss you. God, I miss you.
My mother was the love of my life.
You're using heroin, and you're having sex with anyone who asks.
You ever think about quitting?
Only once every 2 minutes or so.
Hell, I've quit a bunch of stuff. Quit jobs, quit marriages.
You regret any of them?
I didn't have a choice. There's never been a time when there was a fork in my road.
Here's some questions I've been asking myself. What if I forgive myself? What if I was sorry? But if I could go back in time, I wouldn't do a single thing differently. What if all those things I did were the things that got me here?
Turn away.
Reese Witherspoon, people, big year. We have one more very special gala we would like to share with you this morning, our closing night film. Alan Rickman's visually stunning A Little Chaos, starring Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, and Stanley Tucci. In the film, a landscape gardener with a taste for the unconventional is invited to design one of the fountains at the Palace of Versailles. As she battles with the weather, the perilous rivalries at the court of Louis XIV, and her own private demons, she finds herself drawn closer to the formality and enigma of the architect who hired her. On the selection of his film for closing night at this year's festival, Rickman had this to say: "It's a great privilege for A Little Chaos to have its world premiere in Toronto and for it to be given the festival's closing night gala, but it is also a personal pleasure. I have filmed in this city, visited often, and some of my closest friends live there. It will be like coming home." We're shaking things up this year for our closing night. Following the Roy Thompson Hall screening of A Little Chaos, our closing night party is moving to Toronto's historic Arcadian Court.
So there you have it, our first announcement of titles for the 2014 festival. We'll continue to make announcements throughout the summer. Thank you all for coming this morning. We'll be pleased to take questions from members of the media in the room. Please raise your hand. A mic will make its way to you, and we ask that you just identify yourself and the outlet that you are here representing.
Hi, Nigel Hunt with CBC. When are you announcing the opening film?
As soon as it's confirmed. We didn't want to rush it. We're in the midst of the selection process, and rather than try to hit an artificial deadline, we thought we would just make sure we had the best possible film for opening night. So we'll be announcing it shortly.
Hi, this is Linda from Fairchild TV of Toronto. Any Asian films, Chinese films, or films from Korea, please? Thank you.
Yeah, we've announced this morning the world premiere of the Ning Hao film, Breakup Buddies. We also have Peter Chan's new film, Dearest. He was here last year with American Dreams in China. And Haemu from South Korea will be a gala.
Also got Coming Home, the Zhang Yimou film that we're going to be announcing, or that we've announced. Yeah, so it's a very good lineup from China. Very happy.
Lots more to come.
Just over here, hi. Yellen Adzik from CBC TV. Wondering if you can talk a little bit more about the details surrounding the idea that this year, the exclusivity for the first 4 days of the festival. Can you tell us a little more about that decision and how you plan to make it happen?
So over the years, you're referring obviously to this new policy of the first 4 days of the festival, world premieres only. We've had a very collaborative relationship with many festivals that are around us: New York, Telluride, Venice, San Sebastian, Tokyo, Busan, et cetera. However, I think there needed to be clarity given, because the media was looking for clarity. I think industry were also looking for clarity in terms of what was a world premiere. Films were obviously going to Telluride. They had an avant-premiere status, but I think recently, of course, that has been partially blown apart. There's a lot more focus on festivals and a lot more prominence. So we decided that clarity was the important thing. That premiered in Telluride is obviously a world premiere. So it's clarity for media, for industry, and also for our public in terms of standing on stage, Cameron and I and the other programs saying this is the world premiere of the film. You're seeing it here for the very first time. It obviously doesn't affect the selection of the films at all. It just affects the scheduling of them. It's the first 4 days are world premieres.
But how do you plan to make sure that it happens? What is the ultimate deal if a film doesn't agree to do that?
Well, we're having conversations with all of the rights owners of the films and making very, very clear what the policy is. So they're committing to programming slots, and they're committing to give us the world premiere or whatever premiere status it is.
Hello, I'm with Epoch Times. Could you talk about the Asian Film Summit and what directors, producers, actors might come? Thanks.
We have more announcements to come on the Asian Film Summit later. That will happen on the Tuesday of our festival. So far, we've announced only Peter Lorre from Legendary Asia. He will be our keynote speaker, and we'll be making more announcements shortly.
Hi, Linda Barnard from the Toronto Star. Further to what you were just saying about seeking clarity about world premieres, is that what's holding up the announcement of the opening night gala?
Absolutely not. No, we have a lot of movies to watch, as you may know. So, and they're not always ready on our timeline. So we want to make sure that we see all of the key possibilities for opening night, and that we make the right decision.
Hi, Cameron French from Reuters.
Yes,
So, have you gotten any assurances from about world premieres, or are you going to be sort of announcing this really late in the game when we're getting close to Telluride? Like, which ones are world premieres? What's the first night movie? All that stuff.
When we're talking to the companies that bring us the films and the filmmakers who make them, we always confirm the premiere status. In the printed materials that you'll have as you exit, you'll find that listed there.
Can you just, sorry, can I?
Moira Romano from MyTV Media. Could you speak a little bit about the Canadian productions you're expecting?
The ones that are coming up in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, August 6th
we'll be
is
making
when
those
we
announcements.
announce.
Obviously, there's a couple of Canadian directors here, 3 prominent ones, David Cronenberg, Jean-Marc Vallée, Philippe Falardeau. And we're thrilled to have those films. 2 of them, of course, made outside of the country with non-Canadian money. David Cronenberg's film was a co-production that was in Cannes. So Canadian talent is obviously on the world stage, as we saw last year with Denis Villeneuve and Jean-Marc Vallée. They're working internationally, international productions, American money, American stars. So I think it just goes to prove the enormous wealth of talent that we have here in our own country, and that they're flying beyond our borders, which is wonderful to see.
And on August 6th, we want to see you at the Canadian press conference, where we'll do the full announcement of that selection. Where?
Hi, my name is Usha. I'm from Update Weekly. I wanted to know what other Bollywood movies you'll have other than Priyanka Chopra's Mary Com.
Mary Com is the film that we announced today. We'll be announcing more films from India, some Bollywood, some not, but this is the one that's been invited as a special presentation.
Kevin Sweet from Radio Canada. How do you explain that 3 Canadian filmmakers decided to have world premieres at Cannes this year instead of at home here in Toronto?
Boy, that's happened for so many years. It's not unusual that those films go to Cannes. Some go to Venice as well. I think it's a tribute to the fact that those filmmakers, like David, like Adam, like Xavier, are now perceived as being some of the most important filmmakers in the world, on the world stage. And so we will never deny those kinds of choices. I mean, filmmakers should go where they feel that they're going to get all kinds of prominence. Obviously, we have a number of world premieres here as well for Canadian filmmakers, major Canadian filmmakers. But I think it's, full kudos to them to go off to the festivals that they're invited to.
Hi there. Is it on? Suzanne Askoff from Montage Magazine. 2 quick questions. Is Reese Witherspoon coming? Because she's in 2 Canadian films. And could we hear a little bit more about the Street Festival? That sounds like fun. What does it entail?
Sure. We announce our guest list a little later in August, so look out for that. And in terms of the King's Street, the Festival Street that we'll be having, we'll be announcing details of that as well, but we will have a stage where we'll have music and performances. We'll be able to shut down the street. You'll be able to just hang out on the street, meet friends, relax between screenings. There might be food available, that kind of stuff. It's just a place to hang out.
Hi, my name is Leila Monteiro Lins from Discover Brazil magazine. I'd like to know any Brazilian movie coming for Toronto?
We always have films from Brazil. We'll be announcing more of our lineup later on, but there was an announcement today to make in these two sections, but we will be announcing more to come.
Maybe we should emphasize there's about 60 titles we released today, and there's about 260, 300 feature films in the festival. So a lot more films will be announced in the coming weeks. We're very proud of our Latin American selection, as well as, of course, from all other continents in the world, Europe, Africa, Asia.
Time for maybe one more question. Who's got the mic? Okay, right here. Mic is coming to you.
Hi, Amanda Jerome from Metroland Media. Was there anything that was specifically filmed in Toronto and anything that you might do to showcase that, to celebrate sort of locally filmed stuff?
I think you'll see more of that when we announce the Canadian lineup on August 6th. But David Cronenberg, as Pierre said, always shoots in Toronto. His film is set in Los Angeles this time, but he always shoots at least part of his films in Toronto.
He did go to Los Angeles, so he didn't make Toronto look like LA and the exterior stuff. Yeah, but I'm not sure that's a good question, but yeah.
Yeah, there'll be more to come. And I think that's all we have time for. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for coming. Piers and Cameron will be available for interviews outside of the cinema very shortly. So if you want to chat with them, please feel free to make your way out of the cinema, and someone will help you get set up out there. If you want to hang around for a little bit, the TIFF Lounge is available just at the bottom of the ramp. We do have Wi-Fi available. If you need any information, you can see the registration desk. Photos for films announced today are available on our media site. It's tiff.net/press. See the registration desk if you need the password, and make sure you pick up a press kit on the way out. Thanks so much for coming.